Hi guys, my name's Lee Brett. This is my very first series that we're going to do. Today we're going to start covering fundamentals, pre-shot routine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the first video we're going to do is going to be about sighting and aiming and how to align correctly and see the shot properly. Some of the people I've helped include a few world champions. I'm not going to name anybody's names, and I was in helping the Hong Kong national team. I'm going to teach a lot of stuff that's going to come from snooker. Where we play on a 12 foot by 6 foot table with really small pockets. So this is really going to help you guys to get a lot closer to make the balls. So the first thing we're going to talk about is going to be sighting and aiming. So a lot of amateur players, what they're going to do, you're going to walk around the table, but they're going to be too close to the table. And we call these guys table huggers. They literally put a cloth in their pocket so we can polish the table at the same time as we walk around to give it a nice little clean as we go. So what I like to tell people is cue distance away. This area now in between where my cue is and the table, I call this inside the box. And anywhere outside of this is outside of the box. Now, when you're outside the box, this is where your brain is now switched on and you're going to make all your decisions. So you're literally going to look at the shot that you're going to play, you're going to decide what you're going to do, and then you're literally going to step in and you're going to execute. If you start thinking when you step into the table, you need to step back and start again. So here's a very useful fact that I like to try and explain to people. Your conscious mind can only process 50 bits of information a second, while your unconscious mind processes 11 million. It's 220,000 times faster. So I like to say to people, when I do like a long drive and I'm on the road and I'm doing lessons, I'm focused on the truck next to me. Before you know it, you've drove 600 miles and you're not even thinking about it because you're driving subconsciously. Your subconscious is taking over. If you're down on a shot and you're thinking, oh, wait there, I get the 9 ball, I win the match. You start thinking what you're doing. Before you know, you've missed the ball because you were thinking about something else and you weren't focused on what you were doing. So the first thing I try and explain to people is sighting and aiming properly. So by being this far away from the ball, I get to see the overhead picture. It's also the same as if you're playing, your teammates are all sitting here and you're looking at them like, why is he not shooting the 3 ball? It's because when you're standing here, you actually can't see as well as somebody that's over here. So if you watch a lot of the professionals, you'll see they're away from the table. They don't get too close to the table. And they're always walking around the table so they can actually get to see a bigger picture where they are. Being here, you can see the overhead picture. This here we would call the potting line or the contact point line. And then this here we'd call the aiming line. So you can actually see where the contact point really is on the ball. And now you can step in on the aiming line. So these are the two concepts that we try and explain to people. So what I understand, the biggest point is we're always looking for where the contact point is on the object ball. Now we're going to line up the cue ball through the contact point. This is called the aiming line. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to look for this line back away from the table. So when I find this line, this is where I need to be aiming in this direction. Now, if I walk around the table like a lot of amateur players do, they'll walk around on top of the ball, they'll get down, they'll start shuffling backwards. They're up, they're looking down, you can still see the thinking, the brain's on, the next thing you know, wait there, I don't know. And now all of a sudden they're unbalanced and they're unsure where to aim to shoot the ball. Now what's going to happen is you're going to be so inconsistent because you're starting here and you're moving back to these little places on the ground. If you started here, the start of your routine, every single time you shoot, you're going to put a circle on the floor with an X in. This is where you should be standing correctly. Not here, working your way back to this pot. And then we have all these different little X's on the floor where all your feet will be in different positions, only slightly off, but you're going to end up being completely different all the time to shoot the same ball. Where if you start here, see the bigger picture, we're in the right position, right distance from the ball. You can literally step in on this line and shoot the ball. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to shoot a couple of balls. And what I want you to try and notice is how every time I start each shot, I'm behind the shot, I'm deciding what I'm going to do. Here, I can step in, I can shoot the ball. I'm going to get to my starting position, which is, this is going to take some time for people to understand, to learn this, but I'm going to show you in the next section, when I do section 2, about the stance and how we learn to do it the same so it becomes like muscle memory and it becomes natural, so you don't need to think about, wait there, I'm too close, I'm too far away from the ball. Again, back to my starting position, find where it is, cue distance from the cue ball. I can see the line of the shot clearly from here, I can shoot the ball. This is the number one tip I was trying to explain to all the amateur players that none of them do. Try and get away from the table. Don't always stay close to the table and be a table hugger where you're polishing the table, you're on top of the ball, and you start finding yourself shuffling your feet back. If you stand behind the line of the shot, you can literally see exactly where you need to aim. We can find the aiming line, which is the line of the center of the cue ball is going to go through the contact point on the object ball. So if I put these two balls in a straight line, this is like 12 o'clock on a clock face. They're both on top, they're right on top of each other, the cue ball and the object ball. This now will be the contact point and the aiming line dissect. We look for this line and we're literally going to step on this line. Your subconscious will tell you exactly where you need to be. If you're too close, if you're too far from the ball, if I'm aiming and it's too full, like I'm going to fire it into the rail, I'll be like, no, it's too full, I need to come over here a bit more. But by starting here, I can see exactly where this is. So simple, I can literally just step in and shoot. Okay, so I just want to explain a couple of analogies because a lot of players seem to, it seems to help them a little bit more if I give them different examples, different analogies. So I'm going to give you two analogies right now. When you're too close to the table, what I want you to understand is if you put your hand next to your face and try and look at your hand, you really can't see it clearly. If I move it away, roughly about here, you can now see a lot clearly. This is exactly the same as being on top of the cue ball, so stepping back a couple of feet, and all of a sudden now you go, oh, I can see now, wait there, I needed to move over a little bit. Another example is if you ever watch the NFL, guys on the touchline have got the headphones in, and they've got a couple of people in a booth. Their job is literally to look at the field from an overhead point of view. They can see the bigger picture. So if you ever watch the professionals play, we never stay close to the table. We're always away from the table so we can see the bigger picture, and we never stay still. Playing 8-ball, you're standing here like this. You'll see a lot of guys in the leagues will do this. Now what happens is you get frozen still, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, and you're only looking at one shot, whereas if you walk around the table, you might actually see the clearer picture and go, oh, wait there, I know what I need to do here because this could be a problem over here. I can see a better way of solving this, whereas by looking at one view only, you're going to get stuck. So never try and stay still, keep away from the table and walk around. I call this the yard. We want to control the yard. A bit like when you come into somebody's house and they've got guard dogs. That dog's there is to get out, this is mine, I own this area. So by walking around the table, a bit of confidence, your opponent's going to sit in the chair and look at your body language. They're either going to feed off it when they see you banging the chalk on the table, getting upset, and now they're going to jump up and be ready to shoot, or they're going to be like, ooh, this guy's playing good today, and they're going to get nervous, and they're going to start missing, and they're going to be too scared to get to the table. So quickly going to go back to sighting the ball from here. A bird of prey will sit like this, and it'll stalk its victim, say a rabbit. It won't just come in for the kill, it stays here behind the exact line it is, and then it comes straight in. So this is the easiest way to explain how we do this. Behind the line, bird of prey, there's my target over there, there's the rabbit, and I'm just going to come in straight through this line. This is my target that I'm aiming for. If I'm going to shoot, same again, here I am, find the line, and I'm literally coming straight through this line here to shoot this ball. So some of the analogies, like I said, the football team, think when your teammates are sitting here, I can see the table a lot more clearly over here watching the game on a team than you can when you're standing like this over the table. Try and think, get away from the table. If you're walking around to shoot, this is one of the tips I try and give somebody. If you find yourself too close, just do this with your arm. Push yourself away. Because all of a sudden now I'm going to shoot the 10 ball. I'm in position, cue distance from the cue ball. I can see where I need to be. I can see an overhead picture, roughly guess where the contact point is, where this aiming line is that I'm going to try and find, and how I'm going to stand on this aiming line. Now I can literally step in and shoot. I'm going to shoot the 4 ball and I'm going to come from here. Now this is what a lot of players will do. They walk like this. So when you get to here, you're automatically on top of the ball. You would have to now start going backwards. And as you're going backwards, you're trying to line up instead of being here, looking where you need to be, looking at the table, make your decision, and then step in and execute. If you actually walk more away from the table, outside the box, try and use the shadow. We're going to say like lane 8. When I get to here, you can see now I'm in position distance-wise from the cue ball. I can now literally step in from here and shoot the ball. But if I come too close to the table, I'm going to cause a lot of problems, because now I'm going to start backing up as I'm thinking. My brain's going to be switched on and I'm not going to be ready to shoot. So the key points I just want to explain to people: don't be a table hugger. Get away from the table. Cue distance from the cue ball. Use your cue if you need to say, okay, how far do I need to be? Where should I be standing? So we can find where the shot line is. And all I want you guys to do is, if you tune in for the next video, I'm going to go and explain on video number 2 about how the stance and the aiming line is now going to work once we find the aiming line, by being back, finding the sighting position away from the table. This will be the start of the routine. So tune in for video number 2, and I'm going to explain about the stance and the alignment now, how that's going to correspond with number 1.